Welcome back. I'm still your Elavi. It's still Wednesday, February 15, 2017. And last I checked, this is still your daily dose of news on I-24. Now, the gripping and horrifying tale of the 2006 murder of 13-year-old Tair Rada in the Golan Heights shook Israel to its core and still makes headlines to this day. Last year was turned into a 4-part miniseries by Yotam Gundelman, Mika Timor, and Ari Pines. And when it aired on Israeli television, it caused a stir, receiving both praise and criticism, but the accolades seem to have won out as the series was picked up by online entertainment platform Netflix. But in order to make sense of all this, let's take a look of what is this series at all. Here's a trailer.
אני טיפלתי בקריירה שלי 204 מקרים של רצח. המראה הוא מזעזע. אתה רואה ילדה, צעירה, נאה, שברירית, מרוטשת.
ילדי קצרין והאזור חוששים. האם הרוצח או הרוצחים עדיין מסתובבים חופשי?
הצעירים זה מקום מאוד פסטורלי. הולכים לבד, מסתובבים לבד, יוצאים החוצה לשחק. פשוט אחרי הרצח זה נעלם.
סרקו את כל מי שניתן היה לחקור בבית הספר.
החשוד ברצח, אותו חשוד שעצור בידי המשטרה מזה מספר ימים, הוא החשוד הפוטנציאלי שביצע, הודה, שחזר את הרצח לפני פחות משבועיים.
מי שציפה שבעקבות הודעת המשטרה אמש על תפיסת החשוד ברצח תאיר רדה תשתחרר בקצרין אנחת רווחה, טעה.
תחושות הבטן שלי עדיין לא שקטות.
רומן, מה שלומך? לא בסדר. למה? אני לא מכיר את העבוד.
רומן זדורוב חוזר בו מההודעה ומצהיר שהוא חף מפשע.
כל המוצגים מהבית של זדורוב הגיעו לנו למעבדה, פירקנו אותם עד העצם. לא מצאנו כלום ששייך לתאיר רדה, לא מצאנו דם בכלל.
לא יכול להיות שאם רומן היה בזירה הזאת, אין שום ממצא פורנזי.
Well, joining me in studio right now, Ari Pines and Yotam Gundelman, co-creators of the series that, as we said, was picked up by Netflix. Quite I mean, not just the series, but the entire story. Quite a story that shook the entire country of Israel. First of all, let me ask you this. I mean, Tair Rada was murdered, how many years ago is it now?
10.
10 years ago.
10 years.
Zadorov, the man who was charged with her murder, almost I would say, just from my Facebook feed, I'm not kidding, almost most Israelis don't think that he was the murderer. He's still in prison.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, maybe the majority even, yeah.
The majority do not think. What do you think?
I have a really hard time to believe he's the man responsible for the murder. I can't say with complete certainty that he's not, because I don't have a clear forensic evidence that points at someone else, but right. I'm almost sure that he has nothing to do with it, and I'm positively sure that he should not be in jail, because there is a lot more than reasonable doubt in this case.
There's so much, information that came out about it, and as you said, reasonable doubt. But before we continue, I just want to reaffirm this story to our international viewers, other than just your series. Tair Rada was murdered approximately 10 years ago. She was a kid at the age of
13.
Of 13, right? 13. She was murdered in the bathroom of her high school. She was found with knife wounds all over her. In the school. It wasn't even a high school, right?
Yeah, it was a junior
school,
exactly. And her throat was slit.
Was slashed. This is not something as opposed to the United States or Europe, because there are more people, that is very common in Israel, this type of a murder.
It's the only time. I mean, it's like it was a very, very special murder, I guess, to everyone, even the police. Nobody knew how to even investigate it.
How to even start, right?
How to even start, where to do. It's like they found her locked in the bathroom, locked from the inside, with no forensic evidence that leads to nobody. By now, there hasn't been any evidence that was connected not to Roman Zadorov or not to anyone else, for sure. So it's one big question mark that has that left like a big void for the stories to fill in.
But just to make it clear, like there were a lot of forensic evidence inside the stall where she was found, but none of the forensic evidence led to Zadorov or to someone who is sitting in jail.
Or to someone else we know about. I mean, nobody ever connected those dots between the evidence and it's.
And all of this sounds, and again, because I think all of us are very obsessed with unsolved murders or murders. This sounds very much like To Make a Murderer. I believe that was the name of the series that was also on Netflix.
Yeah,
right?
We're used to the comparisons. I mean, we hear it a lot, and I think the common thing between these two shows is both criticize the justice system and expose a lot of flaws that exist in it, which the biggest one maybe that is common to both TV shows is the fact that you can convict someone based on his confession. And we know that, we scientifically know that a lot of times confessions can be false. So it's a bit problematic to convict someone based solely on this evidence.
Solely on this evidence. In the case of Zadorov, as you mentioned, he retracted his confession. He said it came under duress. How many years did you guys work on this series?
About 3 years. Actually, I mean, it's funny because Making a Murderer came out like only a few months before we came out. And The Jinx also just like 6 months before.
Exactly, The Jinx came out as
because
well.
when we started, it was like a new ground in television, and by the time we got out, it was like a big hype around it because of those two amazing shows that led the way.
Do you think that led the way for you guys to be picked up by Netflix?
Yeah, I think so, completely.
Now, the one outstanding thing about the series is that it's actually, I mean, and that's something that an old hag like me, because I really am much older than you guys, but that this series is going to be broadcast with subtitles, it's in Hebrew, and it was picked up the same way.
There was actually, I mean, they thought about dubbing it, but we didn't want to.
Which is awful.
Which is awful.
Which is awful, that's okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, the Hebrew of it, the Israeliness of it is very important to understand the story and also to be familiar with the surroundings.
Yeah.
And,
but it's already like worldwide on Netflix with subtitles, and we've been getting a lot of really good feedbacks. I mean, I know that a lot of Americans, for instance, don't like to read subtitles, but those who do, and there are a lot to do, they positively think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, it's worthwhile. Yeah. And Ta'ir Rada, the family, what did the family think of the series?
We're in a very close connection to the family. Ta'ir Rada's father actually died just like a few weeks before the series came out. He was interviewed and he has like a big part in the series of cancer.
Young, yeah.
But Ta'ir's mother she's still in a very close relationship with us. And they were also divided between them. I mean, she thinks Roman is innocent, the mother, and he thought actually Roman was guilty. And it's a very, interesting dynamic between them as a family. But they were both really, really nice to us.
It's a remarkable series. It deserves all the accolades. It deserves to be seen around the world. I want to thank you both for coming here, because it clearly shows that you invested a lot, even maybe, dare we say, even more than, I don't want to say the police, but you've invested a lot of thought into this investigation, to this film.
We did.
Okay, the name of it in English, once again?
Shadow of Truth.
Shadow of Truth is on Netflix. Really highly recommended that you watch it.